welcome you to legendary Pauley Pavilion second round action. UCLA and Richmond. UCLA, the overall #1. Dugalich with a misfire, and the All-American Betts went up and couldn't handle the rebound. UCLA out in front 8-4. And a backdoor cut that's going to be off the hands of UCLA, and Richmond will have it on the baseline.
Well, what Richmond did well defensively, they disallowed second touches and second chance opportunities for UCLA, and that's what they need. Richmond needs to continue to be staunch on the glass, especially with Lauren Betts with 10 boards a game for her.
Richmond knocking off Georgia Tech on Friday night on this court. It was the program's very first NCAA tournament win. UCLA, the #1 team in the country. Good drive there by little Allie Sweeney at 5'6".
Now, Sweeney, she has no fear whatsoever. She's going to put the ball on the deck. Richmond loves to play that 5-out offense, and when they can find a crease to attack, the point of attack is going to be wide open like that.
This is a confident Richmond team going up against the overall #1 of the tournament. Betts could not handle that. It's off her fingertips and out of play. She's going to be doubled and tripled all night long.
Yeah, and that's something she's very familiar with. Matter of fact, she had a career-high 11 assists against Minnesota earlier this season. But watch the straight line drive right here. This is what Richmond loves to do. They want to lull you to sleep. They want to cut off the basketball, but they also want to leave opportunities open to dash and dart to the cup just like that and finish.
Now looking to tie up the Bruins on their home floor.
Look how they have UCLA spread out.
Dugan putting her head down on the dribble, and Barker will foul her on the hip. Very close, the head coach for UCLA, aiming for a third straight Sweet 16. But the expectations for this program are just so sky high. She told us today at Shoot-Around she's very proud of how the kids have been able to box out all the noise.
Yes.
Meaning social media, the internet, they've done a good job with that. That's really hard to do, particularly in Los Angeles.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, she has really applauded her team for staying locked in.
Feathery touch there by Maggie Dugan, who makes 39%. Had a tremendous game one. 30 points, 15 rebounds, 6 assists. Richmond off to a 4-for-4 shooting start. Jaquez with the drive, airborne, and a whistle and a foul as Richmond has surged into the early lead here in the first quarter.
We didn't think we'd see Lauren Betts be the primary defender on Maggie Dugan, but that is what transpired on the previous possession. She puts the ball on the deck, sizes up Betts at 6'7", and snuggles that triple home from range. And she is just playing with the fire in the eyes. And as you said, OB, she had 6 assists to go along with that huge 30-point, 15-rebound, double-double performance against Georgia Tech. And she did it in a myriad of ways. A 3-level scorer. She was able to knock in those triples just like that. And they find her on those flare actions and pick and pops.
And the unanimous All-American Betts, at least for the moment, on the bench. So UCLA by 1, back and forth in the early going here at Pauley Pavilion.
Looks like Hill took a shot to the teeth right there on that free throw rebound and is trying to collect herself on the strong side corner here.
Sweeney with a bounce feed. Getting it downstairs, and Dugan doing a great job using her body to get a little wiggle room. Yeah,
she took that weak side cut and face cut Kiki Rice and maintained her position on that seal, and that was very well orchestrated by Richmond to find her down there all alone with her help.
Rice walking with it, a traveling violation on Kiki Rice. So back over the Spiders it goes. They rolled past Georgia Tech Friday 74-49.
But it's the weak side dart cuts that you have to be well aware of defensively if you're UCLA, especially if it's Maggie Dugan. She is fundamentally sound and very calculated in terms of when and where she strikes, in terms of her positioning in the paint.
And incredibly calm.
Yes.
At all times. She never really lets the emotions get to her at all.
No. She loves the game. She oozes passion on the inside, and she shows that statistically with her effectiveness and efficiency, even though she mishandled that one on the miscue on the pass.
So we've got a timeout. 4:53 to go in the first quarter here in LA. I'm not sure that Richmond star Maggie Dugan got enough credit for what she did in round one, but she's off to another great start.
Well, she's coming off of a 30-point, 15-rebound, 6-assist performance, and she did it in a myriad of ways. She was in attack mode from all three levels. Her teammates knew where and when to find her, especially striking from three. And when they ran her off the three-point line, she said, thank you. I'm going to go right downstairs into the trenches and score at the rack. And right now, she is doing the exact same thing. She is very calculated. She is very surgical in terms of her decision making. She's 2 steps ahead with everything that she has done so far. And right now, Richmond has a 6-4 advantage in paint points.
And what does she mean to the Richmond Spiders? Well, think Cooper Flagg and what he means to Duke. She leads the Spiders in scoring, rebounding, assists, and block shots. She had a 37-point game against George Mason in January. 26 against Dayton, 26 against Davidson, and of course the big one in round one against Georgia Tech.
Yeah, and she gets it from her mom. Her mom was a hooper too.
Jones will let fly off the front iron. Barker a big rebound, a second effort on a solo outside. UCLA trying to get in some rhythm offensively. The 5'10" freshman on the dribble decides not to shoot it. Shot clock is at 7. Jaquez won't shoot it either. Now someone has to. And Barker able to nail that one very smoothly with the timer winding down.
Did that even touch the net, OB? I mean, that was a smooth shot under duress with a short shot clock. Barker, she is the 6th player of the year in the Big Ten for that reason. She comes in and she's steady with it. And makes those momentum-changing shots.
A good size, too, at 6'4", the junior. So UCLA by 1. Dugan off Robotnik, who will let fly a long one and banks in a triple.
And shared a little wry smile with Dugan on the way back as they shared a high five as well. Like, girl, you did not call that off the glass.
He's a good shooter. I mean, 38% from 3. I don't know how many off the window, though. But Richmond has not missed a shot. Yeah, they're 6 for 6.
The margin of error against a team like UCLA is very slim, and they are staying together and staying right with it in a seamless manner out of the gates here on the road.
And Gardner off the heel on that one. So it's Richmond by 2 against the #1 team in the country, the #1 seed in the tournament. And a foul here against UCLA. And London Jones going back to the bank 3.
Yeah, this is after hour business here off the bank shot triple. And then she said, oh my goodness. Her response was like, what did I just
can't believe I did that.
I was like, what was that?
Not going to apologize, though.
Count it, put it in the bag.
And he's a good scorer. I mean, 11 points a game and a very good rebounder at times. She had 14.7 rebounds in the first round on Friday. So also will be at the line to shoot for Richmond. One of the many things they do well with the basketball, they make 76% at the foul line.
And if they can manufacture putting pressure on the rim against a larger team in all positions like UCLA, they'll be better served. And Corey Close said, we usually switch 1 to 5 in a lot of instances this season. She didn't really want to do that against Richmond because of the way they spread the floor.
Well, Lauren Betts back on the floor. #2 scorer in the Big Ten behind USC rival Juju Watkins. 20 points, 10 rebounds. Also unanimous Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. Had a bit of a sit there.
Yeah, just under 3 blocks a game for Lauren Betts. 59 blocks in the last 16 games alone. So she is a stalwart defensively.
Under the ball inside. There is no defending that.
No, she's right in front of the rim. I don't care if someone else was 6'7", but you're that deep into the painted area with that really solid positioning, and she keeps the ball nice and high on that shot and got it to go.
Holstrom finds an opening with the left hand. It won't go. And Barker tearing down the rebound.
But you can see what Richmond is trying to do, right? They're trying to get downhill with straight line drives to the cup and put pressure on UCLA's defense. But Lauren Betts, she has great hands down inside. Just watch how her teammates get her situated. They're patient, composed, and waiting for her to get a body on down inside.
And another whistle with 2:26 to go here in the first. And another foul against Richmond, and Jimenez, number 1, off the inbounds, and that'll rattle home for Gardner. Man, she can get cooking. Played 2 years at Oregon State prior to UCLA.
Well, she's been a linchpin in terms of her leadership. Over the last third of the regular season, she really lifted her teammates in that way. But boy, the flick of the wrist and the high moon ball release that she has, beautiful mechanics.
Dugan trying to flip it up with the right hand, and well defended. Here's Barker in transition. Tiptoeing through. Rice trying to heave it up there, and no whistle.
Richmond doing a really good job of crowding the space right there at the rim and disallowing any easy opportunities for UCLA. That's why the game is tied right now with the #1 overall seed.
Dugan thought about it off the fake around Gardner, and she will lay it up and in.
Now that was a surgical dart of a drive by Dugan.
And she has 9. Been an outstanding first quarter.
She throws the defense and just got where she wanted to go.
Rice beyond the 3. The timer down to 5. Down to 3. Arnesalo around and out by the freshman.
Just the gap discipline by Richmond. Just amazing on that last play.
Olstrom to the baseline. The scoop no. Follows her own miss. Right back up and in. Relentless on that play.
The persistence paying off on the glass, but it's the energy for me. This Richmond team is here and they mean business. You are feeling every bit of the energy from the Spiders right now.
Olstrom at 15 points, 5 rebounds a game. But they're getting contributions from everybody right now. Betts with a tough catch, lays it up and in.
There's nothing really you can do. Once she gets it down there, once again, I mean, you can't really front her because that gives her leverage and puts her closer to the basket. So you just have to do your best.
Well, the 8 seed has played another outstanding quarter after a great game on Friday. Dugan trying to make a move, but a traveling violation with 0.6, so they turn it over. With Richmond on top by 2 here at Pauley Pavilion. Dugalich gets it in, and they'll just hold on to it. And that's the end of the first quarter. And what a different feeling in this building all of a sudden. The 8 seed giving UCLA everything, and then some.
Yeah, and it starts with Maggie Dugan. She has been able to do everything that she has wanted to do. A little up fake, and then the seas parted, and she got herself all the way to the rack. And then Olstrom right here, a little hezzy, a little crossover, and I'm going straight to the rack yet again.
Gabriela Hawkes, 6-foot junior for UCLA, kind of a players only in that timeout. So she has the floor as Richmond has the lead. And it's our fueling the run by Wendy's.
Well, Richmond has the lead because they have been slicing and dicing on the offensive end, shooting 73% from the floor, made both of their triples and both of their free throws. They have 10 paint points to UCLA's 8. And they're also out rebounding the Bruins 6-4 at this juncture. So it's the hustle plays, and it is the spacing on the offensive end that is paying dividends for the Spiders.
Holly Roll, what did the Richmond huddle sound like?
Wow, it was so positive. Before the coaches got in there, the players were talking amongst themselves, and they said, this is open, this is open, this is open. They were talking about all the different actions that they feel really good about. Then the coach got in the huddle and said, I'm so proud of us because we are being us. We are good enough to compete against them, and we are being exactly who we are. He has told them we've got to have death by 1,000 cuts, and their ball activity, their motion, their movement has been a big challenge just like that.
Once again, it's Dugan rolling inside for 2 more. 22-18.
Exactly what Holly Rowe just said. Death by 1,000 cuts. And they take 1,000 cuts every single offensive possession. They lull you to sleep, and then they stab you right like that. That was just an amazing play and great connection of the dots with that pass to Dugan.
Right foot, a long one, and nothing but net. And a quick answer for the #1 team in the country.
And they needed that from Kiki Rice. She has come up big, had a three-point play earlier to start this game out of the gates for the Bruins.
Richmond too strong, Budnick out of the corner. UCLA only trailed after the first quarter 4 times all season, twice against USC. The scoop shot won't go. Dugalich, a blind shot, and missed it.
She lost her defender. Dugan fell down in the paint, but couldn't pay it off.
Dugan off the front iron. And a rebound snatched by Kendall Dudley, the 6'2 freshman. Gives him more size in the backcourt. Thought she might play a lot of minutes tonight, or certainly more minutes. Batted around, Betts gets her hands on it and lays it in again.
Well, as soon as she gets that ball right to her chin, there's no stopping Lauren Betts on the interior. Even if it gets deflected, she can corral it and recalibrate and finish. And here's a horn set now by Richmond. They like to run this for spacing, as well as drives, opening up some drives. They're trying to get that weak side double screen, but UCLA disallowed it.
Yep,
yeah.
Richmond will turn it over, a little sloppy on that one. Although, you know, talking with Aaron Russell, their head coach, over the last couple of days, he says that when they turn it over a little bit, sometimes it's not the worst thing in the world. They've won a lot of those games. Exactly 8 minutes to go before halftime. UCLA has reclaimed the lead here at Pauley.
Under the desk. Don't air us out.
Well, Richmond Spiders trying to get to their first Sweet 16. And the name for the Spiders is Maggie Dugan. She has 11. UCLA, the 7th Sweet 16 under Corey Close, if they should get there. But they have their hands full with the Richmond team. UCLA #1 reaching that #1 spot after upsetting South Carolina in November. They held it for 12 weeks. This is in the poll before losing to USC. And they have it back again here in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, no question about it. And Shanae, you're right. You know, they need to feed Lauren Betts. She hasn't missed a shot, but, you know, she's gotten some passes deflected, has been able to regather and finish. They need to go through and go to her for sure.
She said the screen rolled off that Rice with the miss. Betts another one inside. Her points are coming within 6 inches of the 10.
As they should. Get your own touch. If they don't feed you, feed yourself and get your hands up and snatch the offensive boards down and finish in the paint.
So Betts with 10. Budnick outside the 3. And a whistle off the ball. That was with 10 on the shot clock. UCLA is 7-0 run. Kendall Dudley will pick up the personal.
Well, this is one of the keys for Richmond, not to give up second and third chance opportunities, especially for Lauren Betts right there, who just maneuvers her way around the defense for an easy deuce. Like you said, 6 inches away from the rim. Tough to stop her that close to the bucket.
Sweeney barely got it in. Dugan had it knocked off Dudley, and so it'll be Richmond ball.
Well, Richmond, they love to run that DHO, the dribble handoff, the weave action. They love to set some flare screens and some double aways to try to free up some spacing and opportunities to cut and drive.
Dugan on Dudley, really abused her there.
Goodness gracious, man. OB, she is just magnificent in terms of her nimble footwork. She set her up from the time she put the ball on the deck.
You could about write it down if she stays healthy next year. She's going to be an All-American.
Yeah.
She has been sensational here in Los Angeles. The three-pointer won't drop for Jones. One and done for the Bruins. And Dugan will draw the foul at midcourt, as UCLA tries to do anything they can to slow her down.
Yeah, but you can't slow Maggie Dugan down once she gets the ball. Look at this. She's like, me ball fake over here, size you up, and then let it go from down in the paint. I mean, she just got her body connected to Dudley right there and just knew exactly how to get what she wanted out of that play.
Well, Corey Close wanted to give Dudley, the freshman, more minutes, but she just picked up her second foul.
I'm going to show a lot of different looks to Maggie Dugan. She said that that's probably wouldn't be the primary defender on her.
Budnick off the dribble on Jaquez. And a traveling violation. Tight D by Jaquez, the 6-foot junior.
And that's what Jaquez needs to bring to the table, that defensive energy. Be that disruptor for Corey Close and her squad.
UCLA won the first 23 games of their season. Talk about a hot start. Barker showing off that handle, but the bank won't go. Betts another rebound. Missed that one. Got that one. Relentless under there.
Oh my goodness. It's tough to stop that, and she had 4 bodies in her space.
She's used to that. Hill will bounce here for Dugan. Nice feed downstairs for the strike by Olstrom.
I mean, they are seamless with their attack mode mentality. They know where they're going to be as teammates. And get those sweet spots attacked right away, and that was just a great high-low look.
Tell you what, if you're tuning in tonight, expected this one to be a walk in the park for UCLA as the #1 team. Barker will swish it in on their home floor. Well, look at this score, 29-26. Dugan taking a spill and lost the basketball, a turnover. And nearly picked off. A terrific effort by Sweeney, sailing into the stands. But it will be UCLA ball.
Sweeney is just so tough. Plays with a lot of grit, and you have to commit to grit in a game like this one. Look at this Dugan hitting the deck. And then this long pass by Jaquez, sniffed out by Sweeney, just ran out of space over there. The fans caught her before she hit the chairs. But that's the kind of guts that you need.
Barker to Betts. And another strike for the All-American.
And the vision of that passer has to be a little bit more disrupted. And that was just a straight line pass there, passing right by the ear. You got to get your hands up and active in those passing lanes. Disallow that straight line pass.
That's with 14. Ooh. Step back by Sweeney and can't drain it. She was 0 for 6 from three-point land on Friday. UCLA trying to open it up a little bit. They have a bit of breathing room for the first time in the game. Arnasalo pulls up mid-range. A fight for the rebound. It'll go the other way.
Barker is so quick off the floor. But it has been Lauren Betts on the interior. As if you were surprised by that. Look at her getting a fantastic seal down in the paint for a deuce.
Welcome back to Pauley Pavilion, where Lauren Betts has come alive. You know, when she went to college, she started her career at Stanford, but when she went into the transfer portal, she was on an official visit here to UCLA. Corey Close, the UCLA coach, said, you know, if Lauren would just commit tonight, I'll jump in that pool. Well, here's what happened next.
Hypothermia would only be happening for Lauren Betts.
After the dinner and said, you know what, I feel good about this situation. I think I'm going to commit. She went back in, told Court to close, and that's what happened. Corey made good on her promise and jumped into the pool. So fast forward this offseason, Tamia Gardner was looking to transfer from Oregon State, and so they again had another team dinner at Corey Close's house. But this time, when Tamia Gardner said she would come here, Lauren Betts was the one who joined with Corey Close. They jumped into the pool, so this team roster has been constructed with a lot of love, some good team dinners, and making good on your promise to get in that pool. Love it. The team bonding and chemistry has proven to be big for the Bruins.
Well, here it is.
Oh, in a hoodie?
Yeah, the head coach in a hoodie and the star player on board, Lauren Betts. Well, it's Los Angeles. What do? You jump in the pool.
It's a pool party.
When you celebrate, right?
You love to see it. Yeah, that's just so much fun. And, you know, the transfer portal has turned out well for Lauren Betts. I mean, sometimes it takes time to mesh and gain the chemistry and philosophy of a new program. But she has been absolutely magnificent here for the Bruins.
Program record 88 blocks. She had 9 in one game against Baylor. And she's talked about it in recent days. You know, she was pretty miserable that 1 year at Stanford and up and down in her sophomore year. But everything has clicked this year, and she has become a genuine star in college basketball.
Yeah, no question about it. 17 double-doubles this season, and she surpassed Monique Billings on the blocks list for UCLA. So that says a lot. Monique Billings, one of the best players to come out of UCLA in terms of being a staunch defensive stopper in the paint.
And she has outscored Richmond in this quarter all by herself, 8-6. And UCLA with the 31-26 advantage. Dugan with 13 and Betts with 14.
What you can do against this UCLA team is just bait them in. It's off the knee right there, but they've done a good job defensively against this Richmond team in the last 5 or 6 possessions.
Ulstrom saw Betts coming. A coverage of the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship continues on CBS, TBS, TNT, and True TV. For more information on tournament game times and networks, go to ncaa.com.
It's the best time of the year. Oh, my goodness. I'm spoiled watching basketball 24/7.
Nothing better. Rice feeding the big. The kick outside. Gardner is open and got it. Beautiful shot from three-point land.
Well, that's what happens when Lauren Betts goes to town on 5 previous possessions right inside the lane. It opens up shots like that for Gardner, who has been terrific from the outside.
Makes UCLA so dangerous. Dugan back it away. She'll lift the long one. Got that. A three-pointer. So there's an answer.
It's the pushing the hair behind the ears after a shot like that. That was just a night-night kind of triple by Maggie Dugan. And she just stepped right back and fired it.
Now Dugan with 16. Betts out of the double. Rice to penetrate, lifts, and draws the whistle. Kiki Rice on the move, the junior from Bethesda, Maryland. Back to Dugan. And working with the hair after the make.
Man, it's just this easy. It's just light work right there by Maggie Dugan, who just slides back and just said, let me fix my hair on my face after that. I mean, it's like another walk in the park.
Yes.
It's like a Sunday afternoon, just out of the park, firing up triples.
A-10 player of the year.
Yeah.
So Rice to the line where she makes 87%.
Kiki Rice out of the DMV played at Sidwell Friends. They've a great team. Tamika Dudley was the head coach there for her. Had a tremendous run, championships, private school realm there in DC.
AP All-American honorable mention this year. 36-29 Richmond ball. They're at historic Pauley Pavilion. Dugan got knocked down. She gets right back up again. She has it with Betts on her. The two stars toe-to-toe for a moment. Budnick got it. The three-pointer on the money by Addie Budnick.
Gardner was just too late after that little screen, the little rub screen that Richmond loves to set, because their shooters don't need but a blink of time to get to their release point of their shot mechanics.
Marquez for Betts. Back outside again. That's 3 seconds. A 3-second violation on UCLA.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Richmond wants to do defensively. Crowd the space of Lauren Betts. And she is a great passer. But that time she was stuck in the lane with those 10 toes in there. She wasn't outside that lane line.
So Richmond trying to get a little bit closer with about 2 minutes to go before halftime at UCLA.
And there's the switching that UCLA is doing on an emergency basis. That's what they were working on today.
Entry pass is up and in. Budnick has become a focus in the offense. Along with Dugan here, and it's a 2-point game again.
Well, it's the connection of the dots for me, OB. I mean, they have been on point, on time, on target. Looking like they're running a little zone here. 2-3 by Richmond.
London Jones back for Rice.
Corey Close said they may see a lot of this, just like when they played against Iowa earlier this season, how they packed the paint with the zone.
4 to get off the shot. Jones trying to penetrate, and the travel. So it goes back over to the Spiders with 1:31 to go in the first half.
The pick and roll. I mean, if you're playing pickup basketball, which a lot of people don't do anymore, but pick and roll, baby, pick and roll. That's what Richmond has done exceptionally well. A nice bounce pass, but it's the seal and the positioning by the catcher that has made the biggest difference for Richmond in their ability to score in the paint.
If we get a little playground game going, will you be on my team?
Absolutely.
Please?
As long as you get me on the roll. Hit me on the roll, OB, I'll finish.
Every single time. I know what my job is. Austin trying to penetrate, and she's walking with it. And a traveling violation, 36-34, UCLA, in a really entertaining first half here.
And this has just been a magnificent fight by Richmond, playing with no fear. And they are who they are. And that's what they've been working with all game long.
Hawkes off the heel. Betts will collect it. Hawkes had it knocked away.
Wow. It's the feistiness on the defensive end that has made a big difference for Richmond.
No back down in Richmond at all. On the road in the house of the #1 team in the country, the #1 seed in the tournament. And an opportunity to tie or take the lead here. Going to work inside, and it was in and out by Budnick. Ulstrom will pick up the miss.
Very close one to travel right there in front of the UCLA bench.
Dugan on the drive. Betts will swat that one away. One of the great shot blockers in all of college basketball, right on top of that one.
Well, this is why Lauren Betts was named Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, getting that one all the way out of bounds. I mean, the timing was impeccable. No body contact, got that one up top.
Under 30 to play before the break. Budnick driving. What a tough pass underneath and laid up and in by Ulstrom.
Ulstrom did a fantastic job of getting right in front of the rim. Budnick got it right to her where she needed it with a nice bouncer.
Tied at 36. The Richmond fans, small but loud, a band of them. They are on their feet. Dugalich gives it up with 2 seconds to go. Rice will lean in and heave it, and that's the end of the first half. And we are all tied up, 36-36, Richmond at UCLA.
Are you not entertained? This is what March Madness is all about. Forget about the seeds. We just want to know what time the game is. You can tell that's how Richmond approached this contest, and they have not backed down whatsoever and are giving UCLA everything.
Holly is with Lauren Betts.
Well, Lauren, they're trying to make it very challenging for you. I see 3 or 4 red jersey around you at all times. How are you being patient and finding your offense?
That's what happens every single game. It's nothing new. I just have to make the right reads. I'm continuing to talk to my guards, making sure they're cutting off of me and rising and finding open shooters.
You've got a difficult challenge defensively. You're on Maggie Dugan a lot. She's moving, pulling you out of the paint, but then you come back in with the blocks. How are you doing both?
Hey, it's a challenge, but I'm up for it. My coaches trust me. My teammates trust me. Just making sure I continue to move my feet, don't open up my hips.
Thanks so much, Lauren.
Thank you.
She's a great player, had a great half, but she needs some help. Richmond responding to the UCLA run, which was 16-4 with one of their own 10-2. Terrific game, and we're at the break here at Pauley Pavilion as we send it to Elle, Janae, and Andrea with our halftime report. And from Southern California, we have a heck of a game as we get ready for the second half here at Pauley Pavilion. UCLA 36, Richmond 36. We get inside the locker room of Aaron Roussel and the Spiders.
Right, we'll take this right now. Right, we know we could have fixed some things. Hey, we made some shots. They got some breaks. We got some breaks right now. But you damn know where we belong right now. We know that we belong right now, so now we just get to go play. Hey, whatever uneasiness we thought we had, I know we probably didn't have any, right? So I love you guys right now. Hey, came out, you balled out. Nothing too big for us right now. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
And Coach, if they were a little bit uneasy, they also shot 65% in the first half. That was one of the better halves we have seen all season long in college basketball. Marvelous effort by both teams. Take us inside our Capital One rewarding performance because the stars were shining very brightly.
Well, we got to go right down into the trenches in the painted area. Both teams attacked the paint extremely well. It's a 20-16 advantage for Richmond. They were decisive with how and when they were going to attack the paint. And when they didn't attack the paint, they pulled you out and knocked in triples. Maggie Dugan, let me fix my hair afterwards. You love that too. And then Lauren Betts, we understand who she is. She is a monster inside when it comes to finishing efficiently and impacting the team in that way, regardless of who's guarding her.
She needs some help, but both of them off to great starts here tonight. By the way, UCLA, great rebounding team. They have been out-rebounded so far by Richmond as we head into the third quarter. So we'll keep an eye on that trend. And on those two stars, let's go to Holly Rowe.
Well, I caught up with Coach Roussel and asked him, do you make any adjustments to how you're defending Betts? Because she got going, and he said, we really can't. If we overcompensate there, we open up the floor for other things. They're sending 3, sometimes 4 people, and that's the problem. Too many people in the paint, and you leave 3-point shooters wide open. He said, we're going to try to send a little more zone, send more of a crowd, but really they just have to keep getting out to those shooters.
Dugalich burying the 3 to get UCLA started in the second half. Sweeney looking for an answer, and does.
Yeah, that's a big bucket on the return answer from range, but you're right, Holly. I mean, we spoke with the coaching staff for Richmond in terms of how they're going to adjust to sending a lot of attention down into Betts, and they said they have to rotate quickly out of it. That's all they can do and try to move on the passes out.
Hawkes over the top of the All-America with a left-handed one. And Lauren Betts headed to the line looking for a 3-point play. By the way, tonight's tie at 36-36 at halftime. Just the 5th time UCLA wasn't leading at the break this year.
Look at Hawkes with a nice pitch pass down into the painted area to Lauren Betts. And once she has you sealed off down in there, that's lights out. Tough to guard. If you're not going to dig down from the ball side, the strong side, that help was up the line, so she just went away from the double team and finished with contact.
Just 17, Budnick with the foul. 42-39 the Bruins. Sweeney looking to get by Jones, just kept on trucking, but couldn't finish on the lay-in.
That was the proper read offensively. No one stopped the ball, go right to the cup.
Betts up top looking in. Hawkes gives it up and back to Betts. Here's Rice, thought about it, she'll drive it instead. Jones from the corner, in and out, man, that was in the cylinder. Betts again, and traveling with it.
She just lost her footing, but Lauren Betts was right there on the weak side to get that rebound from that long shot by London. You see right there, she had great positioning on the weak side, but lost her footing on the catch.
Still putting on the brakes, mishandled by Budnick for a moment. Deep in that corner and deflected that off of UCLA. I'll tell you what, if you walk into this venue and you are of a certain age, we'll put it like that, you get chills. This place absolutely drips with greatness, history, championships.
Yeah, and there's Drysdale is in the building as well.
Laid in by Dugan. So 2 more for Maggie Dugan, who continues to be just brilliant in this tournament.
We're trying to see what the adjustments defensively by UCLA will be for Dugan in particular, if they're going to send extra bodies her way to take up space and shrink the court.
Just 18. Difficult shot there by Hawkes, kind of forced it. Jimenez in the open floor. Back for Dugan, and well short on the 3.
That's what they want. Those are the shots that Richmond wants to take. Those quick threes in transition.
Rice with a beautiful drive. And a powerful drive for Kiki Rice. First team All Big Ten.
And they're going to need more of that from the guards for UCLA. Not just Kiki Rice, but they are going to need attack mode mentality on straight line drives just like that.
Bill to drive it against the big, and it rolled off the 10. Betts harassing her. Rice again. Wants to go and strong again. And that one rolled off the rim. And tipped out of bounds by Richmond. Almost impossible to think that didn't go, but a moment ago this one did.
Yeah, the intentionality out of the halftime locker room by UCLA, you can tell exactly what that was.
Jones off the inbound, sticks it. A 3-pointer.
And she almost looked relieved, like finally, I got the lid off. That last one went down and popped out.
She tries more 3-pointers than any Bruin, and now their crowd is coming to life here at Pauley Pavilion. Where the UCLA men won 10 national championships under John Wooden. That shot won't go, and rebounded by Dugalich. Rice again, very quick to get it to the other end.
Lauren Betts is set down in there, trying to get a touch.
Nice pass, and knocked away. Sweeney coming out of nowhere to prevent the layup.
Well, Sweeney was supposed to be on a string and get down in front of that, but she was late. But she still recovered nicely with the block. Lauren Betts doubled up, and then the block from the weak side behind the offensive player there. When you're on a string, you have everybody moving at once, so the proper defensive position was on the inside there.
Nice inbounds, very quick. Dugalich with the easy lay-in. And UCLA up 49-41 on a 10-2 run. Let's see if the Spiders respond again. And a timeout. Timeout Richmond. Aaron Roussel sensing it is starting to get a little bit away from his team. And gets the timeout. 49-41 UCLA. We check out tonight's game track brought to you by Invesco QQQ.
They have been working hard to gain some momentum in this game against Richmond's defense. They have put pressure on the rim. That has been the biggest difference here in the third quarter. They have gotten down into the paint and taken high percentage shots. And the 7-0 run has really given this building some juice.
UCLA trying to win a championship. You got to fend off the number 8 seed. A lot of champions here. Among them, the great Ann Myers-Drysdale. Great to see Annie again, the Hall of Famer.
Always.
I mean, so many great players who graced this court along with Annie Lou Alcindor, Bill Walton, Dave Myers, her brother, great player here. Jamal Wilkes, Marcus Johnson, Reggie Miller.
Reggie, yeah. And I'd love to see Ann Myers-Drysdale at any time. I mean, she is just an amazing ambassador. Look at all those banners and the tradition of excellence here.
Onto the great Wizard of Westwood, John Wooden. Richmond got to get a shot up. Shot clock to 3. Bottled up, Ulstrom has to heave it. It never got to the iron. A shot clock violation. So right out of that timeout, UCLA clamping down defensively.
Well, if you're Richmond, that's not what you want in terms of execution out of a timeout. But UCLA sniffed out everything they needed to on that one to create the turnover and the shot clock violation. Here's that zone by Richmond again, trying to pack that paint.
Jones to Rice. On that baseline, slings it, shot away, but too strong by Dugalich, but they'll get a second try. Rice is open, yes! And it's a different looking UCLA team here in the third. Downstairs, lane, up and in. It's Ulstrom for 2.
Well, Richmond needed that one in a big way because Kiki Rice is playing with no limitations, no hesitation, and pulling those triples, but also has the solid ability to get downhill and attack at the glass, too.
Bruins 52, Richmond 43. Jones fires, got it. From way downtown, London Jones.
They're making the defense work, getting to that second side and then coming back.
Largest lead tonight for the Bruins. Ulstrom trying to drive it, denied by Hawkins. And an air ball by Dugan. Knocked out a play by UCLA with 9 on the shot clock. And we'll take the break with 4:42 to go in the third. A completely different feel in the building now.
No question about it. Those triples are falling. The first one here by London Jones splashes that one home from range. And then Kiki Rice getting spicy from the outside as well.
UCLA's Kiki Rice is going off right now. 13 points for the guard, but this is nothing new. She has had to learn how to be tough and strong. Growing up in Bethesda, Maryland, she had to actually play up against tougher competitions and older kids. Look at this picture. She is a 6th grader right there, number 22 in the middle, playing for the Matrix. And Christy Winters-Scott, You've got a pretty special little girl on that team as well, don't you? Number 51.
Ooh, hey, that is Brianna Scott. That's my baby. Oh, all of them are my babies. But look at Kiki Rice. She was number 22. She was in the 6th grade, and those kids were going into the 8th grade, and it was a lot of fun for Phil McConnell. Shout out to him and the Matrix.
That won't go. Ulstrom had it right on top of the 10, and it would not fall. She's had some tough luck with that tonight.
Zone again by Richmond. They've got to be able to move on the pass because those threes are falling.
Yeah, Rice can't miss right now. Up to 16. She averages 13 a game.
Yeah, something in the water for the DMVer. Kiki Rice dropping in threes with ease against that 2-3 zone right now.
Dugan finding Budnick. Going up against Gardner, deflects it away. Gardner, the 6'3" junior from Utah, with the block. And Betts is coming back on now for the Bruins.
Well, they just got a block from Gardner right here. And then Betts is returning to the court, staying vertical. Gardner sending that one out of bounds.
You know, by and large, this run has not been on the back of Lauren Betts. She's been out. Speaking of her back, she had an ice pack up around her neck while over on the sideline. And a whistle with 4:02 to go in the third.
And that last timeout, you can see that bag of ice on the upper neck area of Lauren Betts. Hopefully it's just a cool down. It is rather humid in here, so maybe it's that, but we're not going to speculate. But she did have ice there.
Well, UCLA has heated it up, and Dugan trying to finish that, can't. Kicks it out. Alston, the open shooter. It didn't touch anything. UCLA able to keep it alive. Jaquez comes away.
And this Richmond team coming into this game, they make 9 threes per contest. And Corey Close said, we want them to attempt 15 or less. They've attempted a lot, but they haven't knocked them in as effectively as they have been this season at a 38% clip.
UCLA moving it beautifully. Didn't get the basket there. Jaquez with the miss, but retrieves that. Arnasalo over the top for Betts. Betts working inside, and 2 more.
I mean, every single player for UCLA touched the basketball on that possession, and that is the beauty of their game, the unselfishness.
18-2, the run by UCLA. They have broken open what was an absolutely paper-thin game. Here's Dugan, and too strong. And she's cooled off a little bit at the wrong time.
She has, and Richmond is only getting 1 crack at it because UCLA now is taking care of the rebounding responsibilities.
Betts again drawing so much attention, and a foul too. And Betts will be headed to the line. Look at the ball movement. That's a thing of beauty for the Bruins.
Yeah, no question about it. The fluidity of the offensive attack. You get a piece of the paint and then get it down in there to Lauren Betts. I mean, that's what you want to do. You want to collapse the defense, force them to react to some straight line drives, even if it's just to the elbow, and get them to move.
Dugan with her second personal. Now let's go to Holly.
Well, that was a great overhead look at Lauren Betts and her footwork in the paint. Coach Roussel of Richmond was saying she's a really hard guard because she's not just like a big stiff. She can actually really move. She told me that growing up in Spain, her first sport was soccer. Even though she didn't do it for a long time, she is very coordinated. As she continued to grow at 6'7", she really does move her feet very well.
Yeah, no question about it. She's so nimble down there, and that's why UCLA has been able to switch defensively 1 through 5 all season long. There's no let up defensively with her.
Betts came over to help. Hill off the fake. That lane opened up, and she missed it.
I thought she traveled there when she caught that. Good gap discipline right there defensively by Richmond, but it's these skip passes that are hurting them.
Too strong for Jaquez. And a foul here by Richmond. No basket. 2:06 in the third.
I mean, if you're going to play zone, you've got to move when that ball is released from the passer's hand. Like, you can't wait for it to be skipped across the court on the second side and then respond after it's caught. I mean, those shots are going up quickly. You got to move on the flight of the pass and get there with the stick arm up in the passing lane.
Camden, her second personal for the Spiders. UCLA gaining the upper hand with a mammoth run here in the third. And another whistle. UCLA intent on getting in that painted area. That'll be on Dugan in her third. for the Richmond Stars. So she's in some trouble here with 2:03 left in the third quarter. Hey, for the 5th straight year, every NCAA Women's Championship game is on the networks of ESPN. For more information, go to NCAA.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Kendall Dudley at the line, the freshman who committed to UCLA live on ESPNU 2 years ago. The first female player to commit live on ESPN.
You love that. Another DMVer. Sidwell Friends grad, played for her mom. Her mom was the head coach. Kiki Rice was on that team with her, and you know, they just found tremendous success.
That's a travel. So another turnover here for Richmond. They only had 10 the other night on Friday.
There they are.
Kiki and Kendall.
Yeah, you love to see it. Kendall's right there, number 22, and Kiki right in the middle, number 1. Sidwell Friends, the Quakers. Won the Invitational back in 2022. And that chemistry is carried over.
Here's Barker, backing inside, denied. Good D by Camden. Richmond has made one of their last 11 shots after shooting 65% in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, UCLA has tightened screws defensively for sure, and made every shot contested that Richmond has taken here in the second half for sure.
Third quarter, a different game. Barker again wants that paint, left it short. And she'd everything right except make the shot. Alston for Budnick.
Very close said they were going to go with a bigger lineup, and you know, outside of London Jones right now, you see a lot of size.
That's an offensive.
Gee.
So that'll go on Alston.
Let's take a look down in the paint on that cut. Wow, that's a lot going on. I don't know if an advantage was gained by either player. They both look like they connected at the same time.
60-43, a game that was tied at halftime, 36 all. And UCLA came out roaring from their locker room here at Pauley Pavilion.
UCLA loves to get that elbow entry in their horn set and try to isolate down inside, but they are double teaming Betts, triple teaming Betts.
And again, she'll draw the foul. And here in the second half, they can do little else to try and slow down the All-American Betts. The foul by Katie Hill.
It looked like Katie Hill was trying to go in for a jump ball, and sometimes you don't want to go in and foul or swipe down and get whistled for that. You want to go in and tie it up. And that's what the coaching staff was talking about today during practice. You don't want to go in and swipe down at the basketball. You got to either hit up or try to go in and get 2 hands on the basketball for a jump ball, which would have been Richmond's possession.
Betts very close to what she averages per game this year, which is 20 and 10. She's at 19 and 9 at the foul line for 2, and the first one is good. I mentioned the block shots, a program record, 17 double-doubles. She has had a phenomenal year. A second try now for the Bruins.
No, she's just been exceptional. I mean, she's up for National Player of the Year for a reason. Look at this. And she's shooting 64% from the floor coming into this game, 7th best in the country. And we already know what she can do as a stout defender, sending shots back time and time again on the inside. You just hate to shoot over top of her.
22 points for her. Backdoor cut, it's not there. Richmond throws it away. Maggie Dugan was on the bench for the first time in the game. And back on now, but she has gone cold. And now they're going to call her back with 20.8 left in the third.
Well, this third quarter has been all UCLA on both sides of the court. They have gotten the stops necessary. They have quieted the storm, if you will, from the Richmond Spiders.
3 seconds to get a shot up. They find Betts again, right in front of the horn. She will lay it in. Man, is she fired up. 24 for Lauren Betts. And she still has a quarter to go. And look at what UCLA did, outscoring Richmond in the third, 29-7. They got a little angry because it was tied.
Yeah, it's been a barbecue chicken alert down inside. It's been all Lauren Betts all the time. Continue to feed her. And then when she gets covered up, Kiki Rice.
Well, back at UCLA, the Bruins have blown it open 65-43. It was tied after the first 2 quarters. Then UCLA said, hey, we are the #1 team in the country.
Yeah, and they continue to be intentional with how they attacked on the offensive end. They said, okay, Richmond, you're going to sit in this zone. We're going to continue to dissect it. We're going to make the extra passes. We're going to score in the paint. And when you try to pack that in and take that away, we're going to knock in 5 out of 8 of our threes. So they have been methodical in terms of sharing the basketball, getting to the second side, all 5 players touching the basketball as well. But 36 combined points in that first half for UCLA, 29 in the third quarter alone. So that just speaks to the foot on the proverbial gas pedal for the Bruins.
So we begin the fourth quarter. Betts on the bench, 24 points, 9 rebounds. Also with a couple of blocks and 3 assists. So she has had a marvelous night. Maggie Dugan draws the foul as we get underway in the fourth. Richmond started really by shooting the lights out. They made their first 6 or 7 shots. They were 17 for 26. Since then, they've made 1 of their last 12.
Yeah, and they struggled in that third quarter, 1 of 8 from 3. And this is a team that shoots it at a 38% clip, although they are shooting 38% right now from 3. But they have just missed a lot of those chippies down inside as well, like that one.
And Dugan will draw the foul.
Foul is on number 22, Kendall Dudley.
And that'll go against Kendall Dudley, the freshman, her 3rd.
Well, what I think UCLA has done differently defensively, they've taken away that back cut. I think they were over-helping defensively in that first half, and that's why Richmond was able to spread them out and take those back cuts and utilize their defensive energy against them. Not so much here in the second half in that way.
And Dugan with another one coming. The attendance at Pauley Pavilion, 6,119. And looking to send UCLA to the Sweet 16.
And how sweet will that be? I mean, this UCLA team, prior to the Big Ten tournament, which they won against USC, who had beaten them twice in the regular season, they had a players-only meeting. They held each other accountable. All 13 got to come in and do your jobs, and they were still speaking about that today at Richmond.
Way downtown on the rattle home for Gardner, who makes 38%. The junior absolutely buried that.
I'm just going to call her the glue player. I mean, especially down the stretch in the Big Ten tournament, towards the end of the regular season, and on to the NCAA tournament as well. And Gardner has been the player that they have needed her to be, especially striking from the outside.
Dribble down and a quick strike for Olstrom. 6'1" junior out of Auburn, Massachusetts.
Richmond sticking with that zone. Let's see if they move a little bit better on the pass, especially the skip passes that UCLA has implemented here in the second half.
Arnisalo. Here's Gardner. Dugalich. Can't hit that. Rebounded away by Richmond. Spiders were hopeful of their 29th win of the season, and they were right there with UCLA at the break. And a terrific play run for their star, Maggie Dugan. The 12th 20-point game of her season as she dropped that one in.
See, that action offensively by Richmond is what they were doing well the entire first half. And it has been few and far between on possessions like that where UCLA has gotten those back cuts done against them.
Moved the ball on the interior. The freshman Dudley couldn't finish it, but got it back. Jones will lift. And a little too strong and tapped out. And it'll stay right on this end. Betts coming back on, along with Rice and Jaquez for UCLA. Second round, Ole Miss, a hard-fought victory over the 4-seed Baylor, 69-63. So that's who they would take on in Region 1 Spokane.
Coach Yo has her team playing exceptionally well, as they should be here in the postseason.
Jaquez open. UCLA up 20 in the fourth quarter at home. This is way downtown, and that'll rattle home on a good touch by Ulstrom.
Ulstrom thought about it, had the little jab step to create the space and let it fly. That's a tough bucket right there. A lot of confidence.
15 for Rachel. Gardner looking for the answer and does very fast.
Hey, you can't be late when you're rotating defensively, and that's what UCLA has done so well in the second half. They've put Richmond in rotation, and they are a beat late to get a hand up in the shot pocket. And they've been letting those triples fly here.
Dugan with a kick out. Another long one on the way, and that'll go down by Jimenez.
Great sharing of the basketball, and that's that spacing that Richmond has been known to be very good at all season long. Fell short in the A-10 tournament to the chagrin of the entire team.
Boy, Betts demanding the ball down low. They do a great job on the entry. And she continues a huge night, closing in on 30 points. And a foul as Ulstrom got hit on her way to the rack. With 6:15 to go in the fourth. Hornbetts 26 points, 9 rebounds. He's only missed 2 shots in the game.
Well, you're supposed to say bet on yourself, but I'm betting on Lauren Betts to finish buckets in traffic for UCLA. I mean, she's done it time and time again. She's relentless with it. She is an amazing basketball player. She's a tremendous story. She had to fight through a lot of bullying as a youngster. And look at her now. I mean, she just stands for so much more than being an effective and efficient basketball player.
Well, yeah, and if you ask me, she was amazingly courageous to talk about those struggles, her struggles with depression while at Stanford, the fact she was hospitalized for a time. Great piece on ESPN.com telling her story. But it takes a lot of bravery to come out and talk about those things. What it also does, and I think she's aware of this, it helps so many other people.
Absolutely.
If you're scuffling, if you're struggling with those things too, and you read that and you know about a star like this, somebody who's become a national star, and yeah, she went through the same things and is struggling with the same things, boy, it does so much good.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, there were a lot of names that I was called in jest, you know, when I was in middle school and everything, being the tallest in the class, the last in line, in the back for all the pictures and all of that. It's not funny, you know, and the kids can be very cruel. But there was no social media as much as it is now, so thank goodness for that.
The game changer, Holly.
Well, you know, Corey Close talked about, she walked in with her the other day after the article came out, and it just coincidentally was the same day that she was named the first All-American in UCLA history. And Corey said, as I was walking down the tunnel with Lauren, I made sure to point out, I got 38 texts today, and 2 of them were saying that's amazing, you're an All-American, but the other 30 were about this article that you did and how wonderful it was for you to be vulnerable and share your story, because that will help other people. And just the UCLA community that has been so touched by this young woman, telling everyone about the hard parts and how she struggled and how she has found love and acceptance in this Bruin community, knowing that she's much more than just a basketball player, and leaning on their love and support as a human being in person to get through a tough time.
I think that's exactly right. As Barker drives, can't finish that. Betts has it again, and 2 more. So she has 28. I also don't think it's routine. I don't think it's easy for an athlete in her position to come forward like that. And as Holly described it, the vulnerability to talk about that. And, you know, you talked about given your height as a young lady.
Yes.
You got picked on too, and you had to endure that. Boy, that is no easy task as you're just starting to grow up, right?
Absolutely, and you just want to be. You just want to be yourself, and to be criticized or evaluated by your peers.
It was rather heartbreaking in the story where she said, I just wanted to be shorter. I just wanted to be smaller, you know?
Yeah, but you know, there's beauty in being yourself, and that speaks volumes, and we're seeing that full on right now by Lauren Betts, who is opening up the door for those conversations for other youngsters. And here's Lauren Betts showing why you persevere. In spite of it all, you finish.
You've talked about how your confidence has improved. How do you improve confidence?
I think maturity is a big thing, and also like the people I surround myself with. I have amazing coaches, I have amazing teammates. Whatever happens on the court, I'm gonna come back to a group of people who genuinely love me for me, and I just think that kind of helps me play a lot freer.
Well, she's become one of the great players in America, and the first UCLA player with 25 and 10 in an NCAA tournament game in a quarter century.
Oh, man. That is absolutely amazing. I mean, the first, but not the last. I mean, there are youngsters in this building, little boys and girls who are watching this performance and being inspired by it. And that's what you love about this game.
On the runner, Betts will pick it off. Another rebound. That's a dozen for her now. Hawkes back inside out of the triple team. Rice is open. Yes, sir.
I mean, that is what Lauren Betts does so incredibly well. 3 assists on average coming into this game. Had a career high 11 assists against Minnesota earlier in Big Ten competition this year. And she sees over the defense and makes the proper pass.
Just 21. Hawkes jumping in and out. A tough break on that one. UCLA getting to 80 points. They were in a tremendous battle at halftime with Richmond in a game that was 36-36. The Spiders were keeping right with them, and that's going to roll home. Dugan, who's had a tough second half, makes that. She'll be off to the line.
That's probably the toughest shot that she's knocked in all game long. And she has seen more defenders in her area. Right here, she puts it on the deck. And it just Plinko rolls right in. Well, there wasn't a double team there, but she took some contact, and that's more contact that she has seen tonight.
Maggie Dugan, 79%, swishes that one in.
In her game, I mean, she's only a junior. She's going to come back for more. With this experience of going to the NCAA tournament for Richmond, you can't overstate that.
She has 27 points. UCLA with the turnover. Hill will spin inside. Give it off to the basket. Count that, looking for a three-point play. Sam Dewey, the 6'2 junior, Melrose Massey home. And she will be headed to the stripe with 3:31 left here in the fourth quarter. And Corey Close to go to work in her huddle.
Well, defense turning to offense. This Richmond team has no letdown whatsoever. Great deflection and steal. Unselfish play right there, getting the basketball in Dewey's hands for the deuce and the harm.
So 80-63 Sports Center coming up. Should there be concern for Carolina? Chiney Ogwumike joining the show. A must-see buzzer beater sending Maryland to the Sweet 16 against Florida in the men's tourney. And a special look at Duke's main man, the origin story of the great Cooper Flagg.
And Derek Queen with the heroics for the Terps. Just in the nick of time right there. Boy, I tell you what.
You jumped out of your seat.
A little bit, you know.
Just a bit, yeah.
That was so fun. That was a fun moment.
So Dewey went for the three-point play, couldn't quite do that. UCLA preparing to move on to the Sweet 16 for the third straight year, but they have a much higher prize in mind.
Now, unfinished business is the moniker for this UCLA team, who wants all 13 players to do their jobs, and they have done it well in this game, especially in the second half, where they came alive on the defensive end and got their triples to fall, got consecutive stops.
Beautiful pass there from Dugan. Richmond could not finish it. Ulstrom with the miss, but a whistle. Dugan put it right there with 2:53 remaining here at Pauley Pavilion.
When UCLA took over in that third quarter,
Let's go to Holly.
Well, you're talking about what a magical run for Richmond, their first win in school history in the last round. And Rachel Olstrom is a fun story. She's shooting these free throws right now. She was actually coming off the bench. She was the A10 sixth woman of the year last year, and this year had to move into a starting role, and it's been a different kind of mindset for her. She's had to learn to shoot more in motion. She's been better at shot selection, reading their offense, and her decisions. The coaches just can't say enough about her. On a night that when Maggie Dugan might not be on, Rachel Olstrom always is. 20 points against Texas in a tough game earlier this year, and really exciting that both she and Dugan will be back next year.
Now, she hit 11 threes in a game against Oakland. She scored 35 points, so she can really get hot.
But when you're a sixth player, you like to sit and watch and see where you can impact the game. But when you're a starter, you have to feel that out as you're going, and that's the difference.
Bryce working on 21. A feathery pass. Betts couldn't get it there, fighting for the miss. And they're going to call her for a foul. Is that a jump? That's a jump. And possession now will keep it on this end.
That's what I was talking about earlier, right? You don't want to foul. You want to see if you can get two hands on the basketball and tie it up. At least you disallow a shot in there if you're Richmond. Now they have to reset it on the out of bounds under.
And 20 on the shot clock. Jones back to the big.
That's the best place for a skip pass when you're being double teamed, is that skip. And Lauren Betts knows that very well.
That's just set a crushing screen there. And Rice went whistling in for two.
Well, that's why you talk to your teammates. I mean, that loosened the chicklets right there, man. You got to let your teammates know, especially if it's 6'7" Lauren Betts standing there.
My molars are just sitting over here after that screen.
Your molars.
And nice scoop shot underneath by Budnick for two. But Richmond in the third very quickly had to start playing catch-up, and UCLA just got too far in front with a marvelous third quarter.
And they just recalibrated mentally and locked in defensively and figured out how else they can impact the game offensively. And that has been from range in the second half.
Well, the turning point was when it was 39-39. UCLA said enough of this. They went on a 26-4 run and really put the game out of reach.
Yeah, they did. It was all Bruins.
Well, championship teams do things like that. And now they've got their home crowd on their feet at Pauley Pavilion, which has happened many, many, many times over the years in this great building. But now saluting the UCLA Bruins of Lauren Betts and Corey Close and company. Betts tried to tap it out, and a whistle in the paint with 47 seconds to go.
Well, Corey Close said at practice today, we need championship habits on every single possession. And although in that first half you saw what Richmond was able to do in terms of their dissection of their defense with their 5-out offense.
Addie Budnick just came off the floor, the grad, and got a big hug from Aaron Roussel as her career comes to an end.
Nothing but respect right there. Just giving hugs to the entire staff.
Yeah, always a touching moment. And in the NCAA tournament, no less, Richmond winning a tournament game for the first time in their program history. Rice on the drive, and the follow is up and good. 25.3 to go. Betts with 30 points with that basket to go with 14 rebounds to tie her season high in rebounds. A tremendous game for the unanimous All-American. Well, that's what an All-American looks like right there.
Yep, in every way.
She was tremendous. So was Maggie Dugan. In the end, the #1 team in the country really took off and looked every bit #1 in the third and again in the fourth, and ran away and hid from a really good Richmond team. And the #1 seed in the field is moving on.
And the assist, the magnificent in the second half by UCLA, but it was that defense that turned the tide in their favor.
So there's your final. UCLA onto the Sweet 16. The #1 team, the #1 seed, moving on. 84-67. Lauren Betts, a brilliant performance. Their 7th Sweet 16 appearance under Corey Close. And again, they have a lot more in mind. They have eyes on a national championship here in Westwood. So look at the bracket as the Bruins get ready to take on the 5-seed Ole Miss in the Sweet 16 Friday at either 7:30 or 10 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN.
Well, you love to see it. The #1 overall seed for a reason. Winning here at home is very sweet. Sweet 16 for them. It was 25 assists on 32 made shots by the Bruins, and a lot of that came in that third quarter where they opened the game up, getting those extra passes against Richmond's zone. Those skip passes resulted in threes.
Tell you what, it's always great to see outstanding players play to their ability, and Lauren Betts did that for UCLA tonight in every way.
Well, Lauren Betts was absolutely exceptional in every single way. Another double-double, 18. Matter of fact, this season for Lauren Betts, she was unstoppable. It didn't matter if you crowded her space. She was going to find a way to get the job done and star in her role for this team this year. And they are moving on in a sweet way in the Sweet 16.
Let's go to Holly.
Well, Lauren Betts, this game was tied at the half, and you guys came out of the locker room and went on a 26-4 run. What happened in that locker room that turned this game around?
I think we just changed our mentality defensively. We just had to lock in on what the scout was, just take away threes, make them put the ball on the floor. We have each other's backs. When you get beat, there's someone there helping you, so just making sure that we're playing as a unit.
As you came off the floor tonight, a standing ovation in this building, 30 points. What does that feel like?
I'm just so thankful for this crowd, for everyone that came to support us. This is our last game at Poly for the season. I'm just so grateful for everyone who showed out, and I just love the school and this program.
You guys move on to the Sweet 16 in Spokane. You'll face Ole Miss. What is left for this team? What's ahead?
Yeah, we want more. We're going to take game by game, but you know what we want at the end of the day is a national championship, and we're going to do everything to do that. So
thanks, Lauren.
Thank you so much.
Holly, thank you. And Lauren Betts, number 51, to leave the floor here. UCLA celebrating a very impressive win. By the way, 27 points for Maggie Dugan of Richmond. She won